Hey everybody, it's Role Playing Public Radio. As you could tell from the introduction, it's another episode of Drow and Dracoliches. I am God's most special princess and the most interesting girl in the world, as well as RPPR's most innovative GM, Basket, Brisket. And today I am joined by my fellow players, Faye, Rachel, and Winter/Lydia. Does somebody want to summarize what happened last session? That would be very helpful, I think.
I can do this.
Good job.
So we got to Derelict. Drow politics went about exactly as you expected, and we talked to some people.
That was okay. Maybe a little too summarized.
Yeah, a little bare bones there.
So
That's
it turns
exactly
out
what
democracy is alive and well in Derelict. They are having a wonderful time voting to execute each other. The Drow have taken to it as much as you might expect. Let's see. Rushk had an absolutely morbid time because she went against the traditional bathing customs of the Drow and felt like a fucking sore thumb. Let's see. Rushk expectedly met with the Association of, what was it, the Free People's Association?
Free Union of Peoples, yeah.
Free Union of Peoples, who is represented by a big-ass Knoll woman. And let's see, Rushk promised to, or rather exchanged medical favors to secure their vote. And I believe Daelia met with the separationists, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And called them cringe. And that seemed to do a good job. Xastra met with, who did Xastra meet with? I forgot that.
I met with the boys.
The twink. Oh, right.
Twink
yeah,
party.
you met with the twinks and also realized about a big problem that you caused on accident.
Yes. Well, it's fine. It'll be fine. Nothing can go wrong.
Okay, it might be. There's a chance it's. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
sure. It's definitely fine.
No
It reminded me to
problems.
put the name of a god into the notes
Oh, yeah. I was wondering
from
about that.
last.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Good
Things are
time.
going great. I have caused no problems. Everything is
No.
perfect.
Rush can't be
Again,
trusted, of course.
Nothing can go wrong.
Rushk cannot be trusted.
And
The
yet,
cohesion has never been higher.
Dahlia's having a great time. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah, no, Daly's great. No issues.
Okay, so you have 3 more groups left to meet with. So I assume that is where we're going to start out today. You have the Guild Arcana, aka House Stoa, who you don't know anything about the leader, and nobody has ever seen her. But they are currently the ones keeping the roof from caving in around your heads. There's the Peacekeepers faction, and then there are also the House Yavel Loyalists, because if you remember, it was a unanimous vote against you, including Taltree's party. And so if you have other scenes you would like to do, things that would do stuff for your characters, you can go ahead and do that. Just suggest those and we can have those. Otherwise, feel free to decide amongst yourselves who wants to go talk to who. Or you can all go. I don't care.
So I do, at some point, I do want to have a scene later, but it's probably not the first thing that would happen. It would probably be like a midday or well, fuck, I guess whatever counts for day around here. How do they keep the time, actually? Is there like a timekeeping system down here? I'm curious.
They
Sorry.
do, but it's a bit like a big city where, like, even when you get to the part of the day where it's night, it's not like everybody like stops doing stuff. Like, I
Right.
believe labor shifts end. But like when it's like quote unquote time for people to be sleeping, like that's usually when they just start doing espionage or parties or espionage at parties.
Okay, so at the time of day where espionage and parties would start happening, that's where I'd want to do whatever I'm about to do.
Okay.
I also want to suggest that whoever goes to meet with the people keeping the roof from collapsing should bring Vajra.
That's literally what I was just gonna say. I was like, well,
Yeah.
we should probably have her help us.
Vajra and Daelia seem like the best. Vajra, Daelia, and Shiria seem like the best candidates for that.
Okay. That could work.
You want to do that first? You want to do Daelia go meets House Stoa? Okay.
Do we have a angle that we want to go out with this besides just let us help you so that the roof doesn't cave in?
I'm sure they'll need something.
Yeah, I think it would be important to first suss out if they are short of anything. If there's something that they're trying to, like, not let you find out, that would also be a good angle.
Cool.
I would personally like to meet with Taltree's party. I would like to meet with Taltree, rather, to talk about Taltree's party later, but yeah.
Cool. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, let's do Daelia meets House Duet, and then maybe we can do Xastra meets the Peacekeepers, and then we can do some Rushk shenaniganry.
Shenaniganry.
Okay.
Rushk.
So to get to House Duet, they are not actually in the main area of their left. They have a very special place that is across one of the arms. If you remember, there are those stone bridges that go from the central pillar of Dereleft out to the sides of the massive cavern that it's in. And inside one of the walls of these is a fortress, more or less, that is House Duet. This is probably how they managed to be normal once all of the crises in Dereleft were happening, for the last 150 years or whatever, is that they're removed from the main city. Also, the problem is they're removed from the main city, so whatever conflicts they have were probably largely internal. And as you're walking across the stone structure, there's more than one checkpoint, and every time you approach them, Ink, who has been extremely helpful this entire adventure, beeps just a little bit.
Okay, interesting.
And you can tell, you'll get up to, the door or whatever of the checkpoint, and they'll, wave you through, and then you get to the door, and Ink will just go... So they're probably doing something. Either scanning you, or scrying them, or something involving some kind of area magic.
Okay.
It doesn't feel unpleasant or anything, and, you are a trained arcane caster, so, it's likely that if somebody tried to force their way through, it would trigger some kind of magical reprise, which, maybe some kind of shield, or maybe one of those detonating runes. You don't want to look too hard, because that would be in bad taste. You have Vajra with you, right? Do you also bring Shiria?
Yes. Yeah, I think she'd probably bring both of them. Just
okay.
Have an array of helpful opinions.
Shiria, can I have you? Let's have you roll a wisdom roll. Let me know you got.
All right.
Let me roll for Shiria here.
Oh boy, that's a flat 0.
Flat 0?
Yes, flat 0. -3 plus 3.
That's fine. You both got the same thing. Shiria seems a little bit off today.
Okay.
But you don't know why. Her personality is just a little bit different, but it's hard to put your thumb on how. Maybe she's just a little less cheerful or something. But you are in the middle of a Drow city that's collapsing under the weight of the sea, so, not everybody's in their best form.
Yeah.
Vajra looks spooked. She does not really like the aura of the place you're headed. And you can see her messing with a bunch of items on her person. She has, various warding magic items and things, rings and amulets and all kinds of stuff. And she's like, Daelia, I am quite concerned about this place we're entering. Are we certain that House Duet means us no harm?
Well, I can't exactly say that we're certain. I would hope that they wouldn't outright attack us, considering we're bringing in extra mages who will hopefully be able to help them in the long run. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a ton of information about them since they seem to be pretty standoffish and keep to themselves, but I'm sort of just hoping that if there's any sort of possible reprisal that, the amount of, what's the word? There would just be some amount of decorum that they would not do that to us. We'll see, though. It's a bunch of Drow. It's always exciting down here.
You know Drow far better than I do. Has there ever been families like this secretive, this removed from Drow society? I understand that Drow are more about conformity, or at least all of the books that I've read on them have suggested that.
Well, it depends. I mean, the houses are definitely very, I guess, the house loyalty it's dependent on the family, I guess. It truly just seems to depend on, but being secretive is kind of comes with the territory. But yeah, I'm not totally sure if it's more or less. I don't think I've ever necessarily interacted with a family that is just this cut off, but also it's a different situation entirely, considering there's no Lolth pulling strings around here. That is obvious, at least. So
You are the speaker for the council, so I will trust your judgment and lean on you for all matters of politic going forward.
cool.
As to say, you can do the talking.
Okay.
You can tell by the way that she's like gripping the black staff that she's a little nervous. This is kind of a scary situation to be in.
Yeah, that's fair. Reasonable.
So you make it through the 3 blockades and you head into a structure that is both part of the wall and also extrudes out from it. It is very spiky looking, like most Drow architecture, but this one has a theme of 8s. There are 8 little guard towers that go up in semicircles, moving upwards along each side of the main gate. The towers themselves are capped with 8 little spikes. The cordons on the actual outer gate themselves have 8 different spikes on them, and you're sort of getting this motif of the number 8 as you move in. The building itself is heavier on the bottom of the top and moves like inward on like an hourglass, which it can do, because it's not actually a standing structure. It's just being projected from the wall, but it's kind of, I don't know, like attractive in a weird, scary Drow architecture sort of way, but also very, very foreboding. If you didn't have a reason to be here, you would probably not want to be here.
Mages in their fucking towers, man.
You are met by arcane servants when you arrive. There are these constructions that seem vaguely humanoid, but they're sculpted from some kind of dark, shiny rock. It looks sort of metallic on its surface. It's probably the same thing that those spiders you had were made out of. So they stand guard. They don't really talk to you. Whenever they have something to say, it seems to be pre-programmed phrases that are communicated in an eerie whisper reminiscent of like the ghost of someone's voice.
Interesting.
It only sort of emanates from the constructs, and it is very unsettling. It makes the whole place seem much, much worse. They open the doors for you, and as you cross the threshold, ink just goes and then sort of scrunches down as far into the backpack as I can manage.
Okay.
You enter a parlor and feel a little bit like a fly crawling into a spider's web. There is an army of these little servitors inside, on the ground level, on the balcony level, and up on the 3rd level that another set of stairs connects to, and they're all not watching you because, they don't have eyes or anything, but you can feel something staring at you. Shiria's face is a pale mask, and you see a determination in her eyes that you have not seen before. Okay. Vajra is gripping the black staff with both hands, and she is scanning everywhere. But eventually, a drow woman presents herself at the top of the stairs and languidly makes her way down. She nods her head at you and introduces herself as Vice Frelel, the party speaker. And she says, "To whom do I have the pleasure of entertaining today?"
I am Daelia Valsa. I come representing the Council of Waterdeep. These are my associates, Shiria and Vajra. We come to parlay about the current situation of, the ocean trying to cave itself in on here, and hope to figure out some sort of aid to help you with this situation.
Unfortunately, I am not charged with the ability to speak on matters of authority for House Duet, so I will have to escort you to the mistress of the house. Is this
Thank you so
acceptable?
much. Yes, thank you.
Please follow me this way. She takes off without waiting to see if you follow her. She brings you up both flights of stairs to another set of large double doors, again flanked by many of the arcane servitors you've seen so far. You can feel a shuffling in your backpack as you reach this set of doors. If Ink could, he would probably leave right now.
Oh no!
You're getting a very, very strong feeling of something coming from the other side of the door.
All right. Really fast, like, based off of just, like, my interaction with her, does it seem like, I don't know, are they in a similar camp with the Separationists in which they're, like, sort of, like, classic Drow hard party line, just being a horrible, nasty person to them is what is going to probably get me what I want, or does it seem like they're, again, just very much remote from sort of the Drow nonsense that seems to be a thing?
She did seem to stand on politic, but she also didn't make you wait.
Yeah.
So it's very likely that whoever is in charge of the house is probably so strong as to keep everyone else in line.
Gotcha.
So just basing off of her is probably not going to help you figure out what is going to be good for browbeating them.
All right.
She opens the door, and you head into a chamber that is kind of like a solar, like how they have just very large circular rooms designed to look at something. And there's a neat effect where it appears as though it is open to some kind of sky, not the night sky, but like a underground sky somewhere in the Underdark that is spotted with points of light reminiscent of a star system. There is lots of strange and expensive looking equipment all around the room. Some kind of alchemy tools or something involving magical research. You can tell because as an arcane caster, you've seen these things before. But when the doors open, that sense of foreboding that you had floods outwards in a palpable wall of uncomfortability. There are very few lights. It is just the sort of illumination from the canopy of the room beaming down on you. And as you take enough steps into the room, the doors shut behind you with a threatening whisper.
Good.
And I have you make a dexterity roll.
All right.
Sorry, Daelia, I didn't know it would be like this.
It's okay. It is what it is. Okay, flat. That is a 2.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh boy.
So you're a little stunned. This is kind of a strange place.
Okay.
So everything happens really, really fast.
Okay.
You sort of notice these in little snippets, little blurs of motion. The first thing that happens is Shiria says something. The way she speaks it is probably some kind of word of power.
Okay.
And then she's gone.
Oh, okay.
You turn your head to the side as you hear Vajra begin casting something. And the room is rocked by heat and explosions.
Really fast. Sorry, really quick. Am I taking magical damage?
No, you're currently not taking magical damage.
Okay. All right.
The room is rocked with heat and explosions as the quickened multicast fireballs Shiria had ready, had ready.
Oh no.
Careening off around the room. And in those flashes of light, it lights up something terrifying.
Oh boy.
It has the body of a massive spider.
Cool.
About the size of like one of those jacked up Ford F-250s. And the head of the spider is instead replaced with the terrifyingly beautiful form of a woman whose face you have only seen depicted on parchments and tapestries and statues. And for a minute, your breath catches in your throat as you realize you are standing in a chamber with what appears to be Lolth herself.
Cool. All right. This is good. Cool. Oh, wow.
There's a skittering and a powerful force hits you in the abdomen. And the two of you are held to the ground by her massive, terrifying spider legs.
Cool. Okay.
What do you do?
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all good. Oh, boy. I think I might just see where this goes. I think she's just gonna just be held, I guess, for a second.
Vajra continues her resistance
Okay.
and is ultimately held down by multiple casts of an incredibly powerful webbing spell that just glue her to the floor.
Okay.
When she's done pacifying Vajra, this creature, this incredibly powerful arcane drider, bends her face down to you. So she's like just real close to her face. And she reaches out and she strokes your cheek. And she says, "Now there's a good little one."
Well, I will say I have had a better receptions with the demigods around here.
I had only intended to talk, but it seems that your friends, upon seeing me, had other plans. So, if I let you up, do you promise to be a good little girl?
Yes.
All right, then. She moves her weight backwards, and she lets you stand up.
She just kind of dusts herself off, just takes a second to just, recompose. Just blank her face, not show any emotion at all.
There is muffled shouting as Vajra is trying to communicate to you with eye gestures and wiggling.
Do I get any idea of what she's trying to portray, or no? Just
She either wants you to leave or to try and attack the Drider.
well, I'm here to talk about stuff, so I'm just gonna see where this goes. So she just kind of shrugs with her shoulders and is like, "Who exactly do I have the pleasure of acquaintance with? Who am I speaking to?"
I have been known by many titles and a handful of names, but I believe on this plane the closest thing that you know me as is as the goddess of the Drow, Lolth.
Of course. My apologies for the lack of immediate recognition.
Of course, it's fine. However, for our purposes in Derelict, I would prefer if you referred to me by my name here. High Arcana Zesbrina Doat.
Of course. If I could be so bold, I will say I'm a bit surprised to find you here, considering this group of Drow has been cut off and away from your influence, at least as far as I was aware. I'm just surprised to see that you're helping them not have the world cave in on them.
Well, it's a bit of a symbiotic relationship, you see. I scratch their back, they scratch mine. I hope to find a similar arrangement between the two of us.
Of course. Have you? Are the true loyalists aware of your presence in the city?
Absolutely not. That would only complicate things. I have no desire to speak to them.
Of course. Well, they certainly are doing their best to gender your favor. What? I guess I'll start with our intentions. We would like to help keep this, get the city back to normal. I'm just a little, just trying to figure out if there was any way, if there's any sort of thing that you're also trying to make happen besides getting things less watery around here.
Allow me to answer your question with another question.
Of course.
Let's say that we are capable of stopping the sea and holding it back forever.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think will happen to Derelict?
If I had to guess, probably some sort of civil scuffle where, power grabs the usual, and then some semblance of peace, I would hope. Not sure. They seem to have at least figured out some form of democracy down here.
Make an intelligence check.
Okay. Oh, wow, that's actually really good. A 6.
Okay, so Daelia's a smart girl and she's very observant. So the bottom levels of Derelict and the floor of the cavern bed that it's on are currently covered in seawater, right? Seawater is known for very high saline content.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you were to stop the flood of water coming in, you can't grow anything here. So Derelict's major source of food is entirely gone.
Okay.
Also, that seawater is currently making the majority, like the unsafe parts of Derelict, unable to be accessed. So, like, one of the things that's protecting Derelict is you can't really march an army on it because you'd have to make them go across very narrow bridges.
Okay, makes sense.
So you're kind of understanding that she wants to see how smart you are in, like, outlining these things back to her.
Okay. Got it. Okay, well, in addition, I guess, the seawater does seem to be still both protecting and inhibiting the city from outside forces, but also from keeping any sort of progress being made on an actually useful food source, so I think that they'd still sort of be in a bit of a conundrum even after the hole is plugged up.
Her eyes light up, and she smiles at you, and she says, yes, it is the poison currently keeping our veins from being opened by carrion eaters.
Yes.
So, in order for me to lend my favor to removing it, I would want to make sure that Derelict's other issues are solved.
Of course.
There's another matter, of course, too. I'm sure you've caught a bit of an inkling of things that are going on. Even if Derelict itself, the city itself, it ultimately ends up healthy and happy, I'm worried that I'm going to attempt to kill myself. Not me, but me. Do you understand?
I think I follow where you're going.
Yes, so I need safeguards against that as well. Lucky for you, I do know someone in a position to answer all of these problems.
And that would be...
Deep below Derelict is an ancient location known as the Heart of the Earth. Okay. Down there is someone who will be able to provide us with many of the things that I will require. If you can visit the Heart of the Earth and obtain the favor of who lives there, I will more than happily accede to any plans that you have.
Okay. And I guess, are they someone who has already engendered your loyalty, or is it just a not connected party of sorts who is down there?
And a completely unconnected party. You could say that I want to open business negotiations.
All right. God, I'm just trying to think of if there's anything else. I guess she'll just look back down at Vajra, who I'm assuming is still just like desperately trying to get out, if there's anything.
Vajra is like incredibly pissed, but is like stopped wiggling, and it's just kind of like glaring.
Glaring at me or glaring at Wolf?
Just in general.
Okay,
just kind of
fair. I mean, that's
glaring.
reasonable. Okay, all right.
It's also worth noting that Vajra is one of the most strongest infestors you've ever met. And she has been trivially defeated.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay.
I really wish I had asked to be in on this.
I mean, I don't really think there's any way you could have known. You can always come back with me, I guess, if you want, after you find out what's there. Can always have a second meeting with Wolf if she wants it. Oh my goodness. I guess I'll be frank just once. Do you intend to take back the city completely under your influence, or are you willing to let them play out their little democracy experiment?
The city for me is a means to an end. I am less interested in power as I am self-actualization. I wish to become something more than how I am now. I care not what happens to Dare left after that.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else anybody wants me to ask? Because I am just like mildly stressed and taken aback. So if there's anything y'all can think of, please tell me. Anybody? No?
I cannot think of anything that I would want you to ask.
Okay.
I can think of things that I would want to ask.
Daelia is familiar with the Pantheon, right? Like
Yes,
the Drow
yeah.
Pantheon.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, would it make sense for Daelia to be like, since you're here, or is anyone else here?
Oh, yeah. That was in the back of my head, but I was like, well, because Xastra didn't tell us, right, what happened. She didn't tell us
I
I don't think we've met back up yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we haven't met back. Okay. Yeah, so she wouldn't know. Okay, yeah. Then, okay, that's that I can ask. Cool. Okay, sorry. And besides the person that you want me to get in contact with, who is down at the heart of everything, are there any other associates that you have in the city that I might be able to talk to, or is it just are you the only one that's here that you know of?
So are you asking, do you want to know if other gods are here, or are you asking if there are other people? Okay.
Yeah.
She tells you that her disreputable sister is slinking around somewhere in the shadows.
Mm.
And she's fairly certain that her daughter might be here.
Okay.
And then she says, as well as, well, he seems to be minding his own business for now, so I won't reveal him if he won't reveal me.
For the uninitiated, who is sister and daughter?
Sister, could it be any of the drow gods that are on the same pantheon as her? Like, same pantheon level as her? Which, unfortunately, is probably Kiransali, the drow god of undead.
Great.
Okay.
And then
Cool.
her daughter
Cool.
refers to Sinzarina, which is like one of the drow gods of assassination, and also magic.
Cool.
Great. Really good.
It's fine. This is great. All right. If I need to come speak with you again, would I be able to do that, or was this sort of more of a one-time meeting of sorts?
Of course, my sweet, she says when she leans down and touches your face again. Whenever you wish to grace my parlor, I would be happy to receive you.
Much appreciated. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. I will take my leave if you'll also permit me to take my associate as well.
Yes, please drag that trash out of here with you.
Also,
Damn.
where's Shiria? Where's Shiria?
Shiria is gone. She
is
the
gone.
fuck out.
So she doesn't make you do it herself. The arcane servitors come and literally drag Vajra out of there, down all 3 flights of stairs.
God. Also, as Daelia is leaving the room, she does not turn her back. She just walks backwards out of that fucking room.
She just waves at you with a very petite, demure little.
My God. Jesus Christ. Woohoo! Okay.
Once you're out of the building, the web binding becomes undone, and with her face is extremely red. Vajra picks up the black staff and begins walking back towards Dereleft. Does not say anything.
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay. She's just gonna walk, not gonna say anything, just gonna keep walking, just deep breaths.
Gonna pretend that didn't happen.
For now. I also love that on Lolth's Wikipedia page on the Forgotten Realms that she's just Spider Bitch is the final title on the list. It's really good. Oh, okay. Okay.
Isn't it? Is it Shar that's referred to as the bitch queen?
I don't know. That's great, though. I would love to be bitch queen.
So Daelia had a fun time.
I'm so stressed.
Once you're back in the normal part of Dereleft, Ink crawls out of the backpack to be on your shoulder.
So sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's not a big fan of that area. Very scary.
Just scratch behind his ears. Just like, God. Whew. Okay.
Brewy,
Gonna go have a lie
The Queen
down.
of the Depth.
Kimberly Queen. Okay, it was one of the two. Okay. Do we want to have Xastra meet with the peacekeepers?
Yeah, sure.
So Xastra. The peacekeepers are one of the normal houses, so they're just in the Silver Stair like everybody else. Their building, of course, reflects their individual taste, and their individual taste is like goth version of painting a wizard on a van. Does this make sense?
Oh.
Like, it's very much
Yeah.
like it's kind of Halloweeny even for Drow. Trying to learn into this whole like darkness motif, but like it's very difficult to do that, seeing as like darkness does not really have shapes. But
Yeah.
that's the vibes you get when you come up to the gates of the property. It is, if it wasn't done so well, it would be cringe, but it's kind of just impressive how they have managed to communicate this through the sweeping columnars and elegantly decorated buttresses.
Oh, yeah. Ideal.
Yeah, so you're met at the gates. They have a standard guard. They are all wearing tailored like mail and plate, which is very surprising for Drow. Mostly like they prefer lighter armors.
Mhm.
So the fact that they have foot soldier-esque stuff on suggests that they maybe are not super comfortable, or maybe they're trying to project an aura of power.
Mm-hmm.
They ask you to state your name and business.
I'm Xastra Telarr. I'm here to speak to... Where's that list of names? Zerzaoth?
Zerzaoth. Yes, of course. Right this way, please.
I
They
will
take
follow
you
them.
through a winding series of like stone walled mazes. They seem to have strange designs about who is allowed into and out of the property. So as soon as you get in through the door, you go around a little bend, and then you're just in a complicated maze. They seem to make turns at random, often doubling back to where you already were, which again would be strange for guards who work here every day. It's a couple of minute affair, but eventually they bring you to the gates, or to the doors of the mansion itself, which do not seem that far from the gates. It seems like you walked way further than there was of a distance between the two places.
I understand how this works.
They bring you inside, and then off the foyer is a sitting room, very high ceilings, and it is elegantly decorated in the style of a noble woman who likes to keep herself busy with nothing of importance. There's a pedestal for figure drawing. There are various stands and things for paintings. There's some kind of printing or woodworking table. You're not really sure. It's a collection of screens and wires and levers and things. You're not an artisan, so you only vaguely know what that kind of thing is for. But there's also several comfortable couches. So they wave you to sit on one, and then they leave the room.
She's going to kind of awkwardly shuffle around the room looking at things for a minute and then finally sit down.
Okay. It's mostly in-progress works of various paintings. Again, it seems like it's a lot of figure drawing. Someone in particular, you're not sure who it is. It is some kind of male Drow figure, but you haven't met them before. However, you recognize the face as he enters the room. Flanked by some other woman is Zerzaoth. He introduces himself, as well as High Diviner Shintala Zawath, his sister. They take a seat at one of the couches opposite yours, and they say, "Thank you so much for coming to visit us." It's Xastra Telarr, right?
Correct.
Thank you for coming and visiting us, Knight Telarr. We are flattered by the opening of diplomatic relations.
Of course, it is a pleasure to meet both of you.
Can I have you make a charisma check?
Of course. Is this coming or attempting to come to a peaceful solution or no?
No.
Okay. That is only a 6.
Only a 6. Something about that radiates a feeling like something you've come into contact before. So the two goddesses that Eilistraee is closest to, just by nature of being a moon goddess, is both Saloon and Shar.
Mm-hmm.
There's some kind of aura of Shar in this house. And you didn't really notice it until these two were sitting across from you.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I have no idea what to do with that information. I have to pass it on to everyone else later. So I think I'll just say something like, I'm going to be honest, I'd like to just get to the point of things. What can I do for you to have you support my proposal?
In order to prepare their left?
Yes.
Well, you see, that is something that we wish for as well. It would be nice to have a more secure home, especially in the midst of very trying times. However, there are many problems in Derelef that it would be difficult for even a group of several powerful people to fix. I'm sure the major issue that you've noticed is the ocean pouring in on our door front, but also it's a means of protection right now. Derelef is cut off from the rest of the Underdark, making it somewhat secure. During this period of security, we would like to institute certain changes. And then he gestures to High Diviner Shintala, and she says, before the rule and worship of the Drow pantheon inside Drow cities is absolute, with Lolth being at the top and all of the rest of us supporting her. We would like to change that. We would like an alternative. Now, if we were to suggest this, of course, it would be political suicide. No one would hear us out. We would be executed on the spot. But if you, as an outsider, offer a choice and a plan, well, then our fingerprints wouldn't need to be on it.
Of course. This makes
What we would
perfect
like
sense.
from you is a place to worship our goddess in peace.
Of course. Now, I can't obviously promise things on behalf of everyone else, but I don't see why we couldn't come to some sort of arrangement in that regard.
If you get Nyara, our wonderful princess, to agree to construct a temple to the Singer of Eternal Night, then we will go along and happily vote for your plan.
I will certainly see what I can do to make this happen.
Wonderful.
It was a pleasure meeting you both. And then she will stand and bow and make to leave.
Okay. They walk you to the door. They talk about what a pleasure it was to meet you and how happy that they are that we were very gracious and accepting of their ideas. And you simply walk from the front steps to the gates and leave.
Mm-hmm. That is not surprising, given the things that they told me.
So much to think about. I believe that leaves us with Rushk.
Yes. So I don't really. First off, probably like time wise, Rushk would do some of the work she promised. What's the Knoll girl's name?
Brash Vandal.
Brash Vandal. How could I forget? I have fucking brain like Swiss
name.
cheese. It's such a good name. Yeah, Rushk in like the early whatever counts for morning would do some of the like doctor work she promised Brash Vandal. But unless you have something in mind, we can just skip that for now because I'm sure there will be more of it in the future. But after that, Rushk would try and track down a tall tree.
So Taltree is the High Protector of Dereleft, which does mean that she's most easy to find wherever Nyara is.
Right.
And now that you're back in Dereleft, Nyara has gone from just a little guy exploring the world to now an important political figure.
Right.
So if he is not in court, then he is at the palace in individual talks instead of, the larger, broader political talks. Almost everyone has something to ask Nyara.
Right.
And unfortunately, he is not his sister.
Right. Everybody wants to talk to Nyara's sister, but instead they're stuck talking to Nyara, right?
Dude, I was going to ask Wolf about that and I forgot. Oh well, it's fine.
Given that Nyara seems to be so in demand, are there any points in time where Nyara would otherwise be occupied, but I could talk to Taltree? Like, Taltree's like watching Nyara, but Nyara wouldn't be a part of the conversation.
When Nyara's in the bath.
All right. Works for me. Also, I feel like we learned Taltree's first name. What is Taltree's first name?
That is Taltree's first name.
Oh, well, was it the last name we learned then? Or did we just learn Taltree?
Yeah, she's High Protector Taltree Duskgrin.
Taltree Duskgrin. All right. Would it be appropriate to call her Madam Duskgrin or High Protector?
High Protector would be her title.
All right. So Rushk very conspicuously will, of course, happen to be waiting for Taltree whenever it comes time for Nyara's bath.
So Taltree stands outside the door to the private bathing chambers for Nyara, as Nyara's assistants go with him into the baths. And she does notice you, but she doesn't say anything.
What? Just doing like a bit of cold reading, hot reading. How does Taltree generally react to Rushk? Like, is there a closing off? Is there an ignoring? Is she sizing Rushk up as a threat?
As much as possible, she is trying to obviously ignore you. You've got the sense that, like, you're kind of a necessary cog in whatever machine wheel she's turning, but act as, like, personally associating with you is not something that she appears to want to do. It's likely that she has, like 100 other plates she's spinning and would prefer not to complicate herself.
Right. That makes sense. All right. So Rushk will just dive into it and say, well, High Protector, I am sure you can imagine why I'm here. We've recently been charged with securing the votes of everyone on the council here, and it seems that your party was one that voted against us.
That is easy to ascertain, given that the vote was unanimous, of course.
I assume that was done to keep up appearances, or is there basis for the vote?
Rushk, you have been here for an amount of time. Surely you have seen the majority of the city.
I try not to assume when I am somewhere else that specifically somewhere I'm unfamiliar with. I do apologize for the entire bath situation. I try to behave when I'm in someone else's home, but when it comes to other matters, I know that I know little.
If right this moment I were to allow you and your friends to enact your plan to save Dereleft, it would, one, it would not solve any of our problems, and two, it would immediately open us to more issues. As I'm sure you're aware, the lower level is entirely flooded with seawater, and while it was currently draining, that leaves us with a sort of defense against the rest of the Underdark. If you were to take that away, our very small numbers may not be enough to protect Derelift. Beyond that, where we grow food is currently under however many tons of seawater. That land will be completely salted. We will not be able to use it for however long amount of time. Your plan to save Derelift merely plugs one hole and does nothing to do with the rest of the entire dam breaking down.
High Protector, I had an inkling this might be the case, but I believe you and I have a similar mindset. You assess the long game, as do I. I am empathetic to the many problems that plugging the hole would cause. The protection of Derelift after the water is gone is something I can't propose a solution to, but the salination of the dirt, it's possible that we could arrange topsoil to be delivered, though that would, of course, take time and effort. I, perhaps unwisely, would also like to point out a couple other issues that may arise after the seawater is resolved. The people I'm here on behalf of, the Council of Waterdeep, are not particularly charitable. Above ground, everything is very much give and take. This favor, quote unquote, that they are offering you will need to be repaid. I would like to work with you to arrange a solution that obviates Waterdeep's help, that perhaps removes their claim to the resolution. I do not know if my compatriots would share this goal, but seeing as Rushk gestures to the empty, hallway that we're in, it's just you and I thought that we could speak a little frankly.
You get the feeling that when she turns to regard you, Taltree is like looking at you for the first time as something other than like how someone would regard a rat on a shipping vessel.
Yeah.
Normally, this sort of offer would interest me, Rushk, but may I remind you that the friends of yours you are with are prone to brash and regrettable action, meddling with things they don't understand.
I didn't do anything.
I did.
I understand.
That's true. Daelia's blameless and Xastra caused problems.
Yeah.
I understand, Taltree, and that is part of the reason why I came here alone. I have every intention of speaking with my compatriots about what they did later this evening. I cannot promise any resolution, but just know that I'm as upset as you are. I understand, even beyond all of the power plays and the exchange of favors happening here, I understand that you seem to be very, very fond of Nyara outside your role as protector. And to have something that you care for, someone that you care for that much, put at risk by the thoughtless action of another, I'm sympathetic.
She bristles when you suggest that she has some kind of care or relationship with Nyara.
Oops.
And she regards you more coldly. There was an instant where she was opening up to you, depth on an area that she
Fucking rip.
did not perhaps want you to investigate.
Yep. Sorry.
And she says, let me be clear. The only thing I feel towards Nyara is a sense of duty as per my office of the High Protector.
Rushk bows her head. Of course. Forgive me for insinuating otherwise. I will be more careful of my words in the future. Now, moving on from that, what can be done? You are more knowledgeable about the current political situation, about what supplies you have available, about manpower. What can be done to resolve the ocean caving in on your head with what you have on hand, but utilizing the knowledge that we have brought with us?
Sorry, Rushk, but with the things you've brought with us, I doubt there's a way for you to solve all of the problems of Daelia. There is, I hesitate to say something I could use your help with, but there is a task that must be performed. Unfortunately, your ally has advanced our timetable considerably, and things are much more in flux than I would prefer they be. If you could help us with that, it would go a long way towards restoring the viability of Daelia as a city.
Of course, anywhere I can assist. I'll just name it, and I will do everything I can to aid you.
We never intended to seek Waterdeep's help in the first place. The only reason why we went to Waterdeep was for two purposes. One, to introduce Nara to the Church of Eilistraee. This is very important that the surface Drow understand that he is here and that he has a purpose. Second, it was to confiscate as many memory crystals as we could get our hands on. Do you know why?
I believe I understand. I think I have already met someone that has a similar design to your own.
I'm sure there are many with a similar design to ours. However, there are certain steps that must be taken ahead of time. And Queen Yavel has already taken the first one. It has not been as efficacious as we were hoping. I hate to say this, but I am worried about her current well-being.
I see. So the queen is missing in a significant sense.
As much as I would like to be at her side in order to aid her, the moment I leave Nyara alone, something horrible will happen to him. It's not an if, it's a will. All of my efforts are devoted to ensuring that the princess is well protected. As loath as I am to suggest it, Rushk, if you truly, genuinely care about the future of Derelift, I need you to undertake a very difficult mission that I have trouble trusting you with.
As I said, all you need to do is name it. I understand how I come across, but when I say I want to help, I am sincere.
Far beneath the city, in a place known as the Heart of the Earth, Queen Yavel channels a ancient and extreme power. That power is what allows Nyara to embark on this journey. I'm worried this task may be too much for her. I need you to go down to the Heart of the Earth and find out what's happening and aid her if you can.
I see. Assuming that we can get provisioned and directions, I will bring this to the other members of my group. And I know it may not be something you want to consider, but if the worst case scenario has come to pass when we arrive, how should we proceed?
She has the first genuine expression of something other than anger on her face for the very briefest moment. And then it's back to her normal, like Van Damme, just completely emotionless mask. And she says, in that case, I will need you to find a replacement for the Queen's duties.
Someone to go missing the same as she did.
Yes. It is very important that Nyara maintain access to the power present in the Heart of the Earth.
Someone to willingly go missing, then?
Yes.
I see. Well, if there's anyone that you trust with that task, I suggest you send them with us. Just in case.
Unfortunately, everyone loyal to our cause who I trust enough to get involved with this thing already has a task.
So then you want it to be one of our group?
Or someone you can convince to take up this mantle.
It will be done. I will see that it is done.
I will believe you when I see the fruits of your efforts.
Rushk nods and says, well, High Protector, talk has been very enlightening, and good luck.
You hear the dainty slap of small wet feet on stone as a very excited Nyara comes out of the bath with his attendants trailing after him, trying to make sure that he's dry and covered in his robes. And he's like, is that Rushk? Is Rushk here? I thought you hated the baths.
Oh god. Rushk is immediately back to a smile before fucking Nyara comes out. And Rushk is like, I apologize. I feel like I'm going to have to apologize to everybody for that, but no, it's not that I hate the baths. The baths here are wonderful, Nyara. Truly they are. It's just I have my own peculiarities. I'm not fond of public bathing.
You're shy? Were you not as pretty as Xastra and Daelia?
Yes, that's it. That you've Rushk feigns like
you're so
embarrassment.
Smart, you're so smart.
Rushk feigns embarrassment and is like, that is, I must admit, the reason why.
But Rushk, you're very pretty. I'm sure that other humans find you quite attractive.
Rushk is like struggling not to laugh.
You can see that Taltree is trying not to laugh.
Really cute.
Well, yeah, I am. You've made my day. Let's just say that.
Oh.
It was wonderful speaking with you. High Protector, Nyara, I wish you the best, but I must be off to see about other things.
Well, make sure you come by for dinner.
Oh, yes, dinner. When is dinner?
Yara turns to the staff, who inform you that dinner is in a few hours.
A few hours. Of course. I will make sure that I'm there. So I, politely bow, do whatever is expected, manners-wise, and then
curtsies back at you.
and I make my leave.
Okay. Is there anything anyone wants to do before you all meet up and share what you've learned?
Yes.
Yeah, also. You can go first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you go first.
Daelia's gonna try and figure out what the fuck happened to Syria and try and track her down, if she can.
Syria is pretty easy to find.
Okay.
She is exactly where you'd expect to find her. She was down in the makeshift warehouse/clinic where Rushk was helping earlier. She is tending to people who were injured or have otherwise become malnourished due to the problems that are happening in Derelift.
So she'll walk by and just be like, Sherry, if I could have you for just 1 second.
Yes, of course. All right, just hold that right there. Okay. Yes, Daelia, what can I do for you?
She's gonna take her to somewhere, like, as private as possible, all things considered, and just be like, I apologize for that. I did not realize that was what we were walking into. Are you okay? Is everything okay?
The warehouse? Are you not used to seeing people who are wounded?
No.
I'm so sorry if that's-
No, I mean the Guild Arcana.
I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to go with you. You see, I had heard about this from Rushk, and so I thought that my gifts would be more useful here. So I did mean to come with you in Vajra, but you'll forgive me.
What?
Can I do some sort of check if she's lying or if there's like some weird thing going on here?
As far as you're aware, Shiria did go with you to House Duet, and Shiria speaking to you right now is not lying to you.
What?
I'm sorry, I'm a little perplexed. It seems like then perhaps you have some sort of doppelganger walking around, because as far as I was aware, you came with us.
Is this some kind of
No.
Drow joke that I don't understand?
No, it's not a joke.
I hate to say this, Daelia, but you and I are the only two elves that look like us down here. We kind of stand out.
Yes. Okay, well, I'm so sorry for taking up your time. We're going to probably be meeting back at the manor house for dinner. I hope I will see you there.
Yes, of course. I'll be there precisely on time, because you know how much I hate missing dinner.
Yes,
And
of
she
course.
pats her stomach a little bit.
Of course. Okay. God, this has been a day. Yeah, so Daelia will just shake her head and walk back. Just like,
Daelia
I've
found a
seen-
handful of fucking problems.
I have so many things to talk about with people. Oh boy.
What did you want to do?
I would like to wait for Xastra to get back. And I assume if there's like a common room, I'll just wait for Xastra there.
Yeah, sure. Feel free. Go ahead. Xastra, you're here now. What's up?
I walk through the room on my way to my chambers.
Rushk will call out to you. Xastra, do you mind if we talk?
Oh. Of course not. What's up, Rushk?
Perhaps in private.
Of course. And then I will, I guess, go back to Rushk's chambers?
Do you mind if we use your chamber?
That's fine.
Rushk nods and follows you back. I don't know what seating is like, but Rushk would sit across from you.
I'm sure there's places to sit.
Right.
I'm sure we could figure this out.
Just sit on the bed facing each other.
Yeah, all right. So Rushk will... You've noticed that Rushk is very casual about touching other people, but very averse to other people touching her. This is one of those instances where she just reaches out and she touches your shoulder. And she says, I'm worried about you.
How do you mean?
Well, I realize that this may sound silly coming from a human, but I recognize my younger self in you. I see someone who cares deeply. I see someone who desperately needs to do the right thing. And
I don't think that's far off the truth.
Rushk nods and squeezes your shoulder and let's go. And I know from experience that trying to do the right thing all the time, trying to adhere to your idea of justice every waking moment of your life will destroy you. Us.
She kind of tilts her head.
I understand this may be confusing and perhaps a bit out of the blue. I know I come across as cold at times, but I do care. I genuinely, truly do care. Humans and elves, us, thinking anything, existing, is messy. You can't be one thing all the time. I worry that your devotion, I'm hesitant to say, is going to kill you sooner rather than later. Especially here, especially somewhere that you're so invested in.
I've told you about how I live my life generally, right?
We've spoken before, but I don't believe that we've spoken at length.
I split my life between my duties in Waterdeep and Menzoberranzan. Generally, I spend my time trying to find and extract from Drow society people who I believe have the capacity to change.
Yes, you spend your time saving others at the expense of yourself.
I wouldn't say it's at my own expense.
You spend your time, your money, your physical well-being, your future. That is expenses that come from your own life. That is at the expense of yourself.
I suppose.
You need to make time for yourself. You need to allow yourself the chance to make mistakes. You need to... It sounds simple, but you need to relax.
I think she kind of looks a little quizzically at you when you say that. I think I understand what you're getting at.
I hope so.
Regardless, I appreciate your concern for me.
Of course. And Xastra, if I know that we've had our disagreements, I know that at times we, if not directly, butt heads, but if something were to happen, if you were to be hurt, if you were to find yourself in a position you believe beyond hope, you can rely on me.
Of course.
Can I roll?
I do not think she believes this.
Yep, I was gonna, yeah, okay. I was gonna roll to see if she believes.
If you would like to roll against my charisma, you're welcome to.
Would I be rolling? It's a social roll?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's be charisma versus charisma. Or I guess since you're touching, you could do dexterity.
Yeah, I could touch her again. All right. Yeah. Rushk will... You're wearing, like, Drow gear now, right? You're not wearing your, like, Paladin...
I think I described my outfit. I'm still wearing that from earlier.
Okay. Rushk will touch your shoulder where, like, skin is exposed and do that thing where you move your thumb back and forth slightly. All right, yeah, I'll roll my dex against charisma.
All right, I have rolled a 4.
I have rolled a 6. A 2 plus 4.
All right. I would like
sorry.
to...
Is your trouble aspect is Rushk cannot be trusted?
Yes. No. That is another aspect.
Okay.
Or are you about
what's your trouble aspect then?
My trouble aspect is still I have to see the good in everyone to see it in myself.
These
aspects conflict.
I'll let you have a fate point if you fail this.
That's very tempting. Yeah. I'll take a fate point.
Okay.
Rather than having to spend, I think, 3 fate points to win this.
Wait, what?
Oh no, I could re-roll.
Well, but then Rushk can spend points, etc., etc.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Rushk hits you with the 1-2 punch of just very natural physical intimacy, just the lilt of her voice, just the way she looks at you. It just
God.
it slides right under your social self-defenses. You don't think anything of it. Rushk is being genuine. If you're ever in trouble, you can rely on her.
Hmm.
I'm just imagining Daelia just like shoves through the doors, just like, holy shit, guys. Just
You won't
walks
believe
in.
the day I had.
I don't have to do this. This is a joke.
No, I think that's pretty interesting.
Okay.
If you want to just bust in.
Yeah, she just busts in just like, do I have some things to tell all of you? How are
Boy.
we doing today? Anyone else see Lolth today? Anyone?
What?
Anyone?
I'm sure everybody's head just like whiffs to find a fucking
Excuse me?
Lolth?
I guess let me start from the beginning.
Shuts the door. Rushk shuts the door. And it's like
Oh no, she shut the door behind her. She did not leave it open. Oh my god. Sorry, does anyone have I'm so sorry everyone. Does anyone have any important things that we need to discuss before I just info dump on the absolutely insane day that I have had today?
Why don't you go first?
Thank you so much. Okay, so meeting with the separations, normal, exactly what I expected. They're just, normal, drow, mean, just wanted to be mean, they want to look strong, blah blah. So, the Guild Arcana is being run by Lolth, who is here for reasons of her own. She was just there. Yeah. She wants us to go talk to somebody in the heart of the earth. I don't know what it is. She wants us to make acquaintances with whatever's down there. Yeah.
That's quite a happy, unhappy coincidence. I spoke
Oh, sorry,
with...
almost forgot. Shiria went with me, except she said that she didn't. She was there, then something happened when everything went to shit, when we realized that we were talking to Lolth, she disappeared, and when I went to go talk to her again, she did not know that anything had happened. So, yeah.
That's
Good
a lot to
good
process.
Mm-hmm.
Let's address that chronologically.
Okay.
Lolth. I was under the impression that Dereleft was free of Lolth.
Me too. Me too.
As was I.
Oh, and she said there were at least 2 other goddesses around here somewhere. Her daughter and her sister, not specifying who.
Okay.
So,
Well,
Well, there's actually another drow god around.
another
Oh.
drow god.
okay,
So,
great.
I met with Keptolo when I went to visit the boys.
And Keptolo is...
The drow god of fertility, consort to Lolth.
Oh, wow.
Rushk is like massaging her temples. I see.
I figured this was going to be complicated. I didn't realize just how many little moving parts there were going to be to this.
Perhaps it would be best if we are careful about who we let in on the Lolth
Wolf thing?
situation. And
Yeah.
Xastra, please. I understand your loyalty to your church, but please, I beg of you, before you say anything about Lolth, let us all come to an agreement on it. Am I correct in asking for this, Daelia?
She said also that she's, whenever we want to come by, we can go see her again. Which, we can. I would love to go into that situation more prepared and less just absolutely caught on my ass. So, or not.
She kind of sighs. She'll say, I think I can acquiesce to this wish. Rushk.
Thank you. Thank you, Xastra. I truly appreciate it. I'll need some time to think on Lolth. As for the other gods, perhaps We should inform Taltree of them. And then once we've gathered our wits about Lolth, we can inform Taltree about her.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to secure? You said something about going to the heart of the earth. Yes.
Yes. There's apparently just something down there. Don't know what it is.
I have an inkling about at least one of the things that was down there. I spoke with Taltree to secure the vote of her party, and apparently that is where Nyara's elder sister is. She has requested that we venture to the heart of the earth to verify that Yvail, I think Miss Yvail, to request that Miss Yvail is in good health still. So I know not what it means that Lolth is invested in the same thing, but nothing good, I'm sure.
No.
Okay, and now what was the other
Rarely
thing?
would be.
Right, Shiria.
Yes.
I have long suspected that Shiria may have some issue with her memory, considering she can never quite put a name to my face. So perhaps it would behoove us if I do some sort of medical examination on her later tonight.
She
You said
seemed off when she was with me. She seemed very off. When I saw her again, she seemed normal to what she is normally acting like.
I
So-
see. Well, of all the times that her memory troubles could worsen, now is certainly the worst. So, of course, now. And Vajra, I assume, how is Vajra? You brought her to meet Lolth. Is Vajra still alive?
Yes. Oh no, she's fine. Very embarrassed. She was very upset and just absolutely got her ass handed to her. Which, you know what? Understandable. I completely reasonable.
Of course. Maybe then I will pay a visit to Vajra later. I will add that to my growing list of things to do. So, last question for both of you. About our first priority. What do we do about Lolth?
So, it does not seem like she necessarily wants to wholly take the city back. What she said was she wants to, am I remembering this correct, self-actualize? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So whatever that means.
I'll look to Xastra. Is Lolth historically one to be honest?
Typically not,
Yeah,
unless
but
honesty would manipulate someone into doing what she wants.
probably.
Will.
I guess the one thing that I think about is she could probably just take this place back whenever she wanted. She's literally here. I don't feel like, it's a situation where she couldn't just strong-arm things unless I'm misunderstanding everything completely. She's trying to do something different down here, and it's not just take it back under her power, because she also doesn't want a bunch of other people to come in and invade it either. I will admit, I truly am in over my head with all of this.
That does seem to be a concern common between all of the parties, that once the water is gone, Dereleft will be open to invasion. Yes, exactly. Well, I know that dinner is soon, and Yara was very excited to have all of us there. Perhaps we put the L-word issue on the back burner for now, and reconvene at a later time.
Okay.
Forgive me for putting this monumentous task upon the two of you, but you know Lolth better than I. I will defer to you. Matters concerning her.
Okay, Brisket.
Yeah.
Based on my past knowledge and my knowledge of Dereleft, does this seem consistent with how Lolth has acted in the past?
Yes and no.
Okay. How do you mean?
It is unlikely to be a Lolth imitator, because you can't just claim to be Lolth. She would kill you.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's really weird that she wouldn't just make everyone do what she wants or play coy. Like, she's being very upfront. Which is weird, because usually she's like mad at you for not already knowing what it is she wants. So the fact that she had a pleasant conversation with Daelia is really weird. But also, she can't be an imitation Lolth, because an imitation Lolth would just die instantly.
What have I been told about House Duet?
Almost nothing. That's where the casters hang out.
Okay. I think we need more information. This is not her standard way of operating. However, people don't really use her name in that way.
Well, I also found interesting was, the separatists they have no idea that she's here, or else I'm sure they would just be beside themselves with the situation that they have.
She's not one to leave things like that on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Did she seem like she wanted them to know she's here?
I don't think so.
So this is either better or worse, or perhaps both, than just Lolth being here.
Yes. If I had to guess, I think she probably... My understanding was she found that their whole situation was a bit funny to her, but they're definitely in a kind of way with themselves, but yes.
There's certainly something else at work here.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, it seems like there is something down at the heart of the earth that is seemingly very powerful and seems to have a big hold over whatever is going on here. So
perhaps that should be next on our list of things to do.
Yes.
Right after.
Certainly seemed that way.
Right after dinner with Nyara.
Did the god of fertility, did he have anything to say about what exactly he wants from this situation?
He seems to be here mostly to observe.
Okay.
Also remember that he said the reason he's here is because someone created a challenger. Wink, wink, Xastra, wink, wink.
Well, that's fine. I don't think she'd share that. Fine.
Okay.
This will cause no problems.
Hey, is this the end of our pre-dinner conversation?
I think so. I don't think...
Unless we want to go over the other information we need to share with everyone, but
Oh, yeah.
we could also do that after dinner.
I mean, I assume that we kind of just... Unless there's anything anybody wants to say on it, then I think we can probably just be like, we share the information.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the Peacekeepers wanting a temple to Shar is probably something worth talking about.
The Peacekeepers want... Did Lolth know about this?
Maybe? That might have been one of the people that she was referencing, perhaps?
I see. What are the implications of... What are the implications of establishing a temple to Shar here? I'm uncertain.
I'm going to be honest. I do not know terribly much about Shar and her worship.
I see. I unfortunately am also out of the loop.
Yeah, not very certain. Seems just another dark goddess who's trying to assert her power over the city, which is unmoored from everything is right now.
I see. Perhaps that's another matter to bring to Taltree. And not at dinner, please.
No. We could just tell everyone that Lolth's here. I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
Rushk gives you a look.
I'm sorry. Not very funny.
Fine,
Not a
I'm
very
sure.
funny joke. I'm sorry. It's been a day. I'm so sorry.
Yes, you'll forgive me if I forgot to laugh.
Reasonable. Okay. Well, I'd like to go get intoxicated. So.
Okay.
Dinner time.
So the meal is served in Daelia style, which is where you are all kind of relaxing on couches in a central common room. So, Nyara has his own special couch, and then your couches are sort of arranged around his, and people bring you platters, that they set on just little small tables in front of you so that you can lounge and enjoy the food that Dare Left has, which is less interesting and varied than you would hope it would be, but you all already know about the food issues. So you're, having pleasant conversation and talking and relaxing, all just kind of enjoying Yara's presence. When Ink pops off his little spot on the couch, walks into the middle of the room, and begins waving his paw very frantically.
Okay.
Is he trying to catch something?
No, looks like he's gesturing for attention.
Oh, look at Daelia.
Looks at her cat.
He points towards the door and goes, meow.
Rushk is, as naturally as possible, out of her seat and heading towards the door.
Yeah.
There is an enormous, deafening sound and accompanying shockwave that
good.
shakes Dare Left as something explodes. And you
great.
are intercepted in the doorway with several of Taltree's guards who immediately call out to Taltree and say, High Protector, we are under attack.
Oh.
Fuck.
And I think that's a good place to leave it for today.
Yeah.
Fuck!
Yep.
Bridget, you get to go have 3 meetings, and then I'll create a nice little problem.
Yeah.
Aren't lying.
Don't worry about it. It'll be fun. So yeah, I'll leave you all in suspense as to the terrible things that are happening to Dare Left.
Oh boy.
And we will deal with those next week.
That's probably
See y'all
fine.
later, everybody.
Fuck.
Bye.
Bye.